very good morning, students. Today I am going to explain you chapter 3, which is poem The Road Not Taken, which is written by Robert Frost. Robert Frost was born in San Francisco, California. He won 3 Pulitzer Prizes and was invited to recite his poem. He is regarded as one of the greatest poets of his times. Through this poem, Robert Frost gives us a picture of indecision. The two roads obviously symbolize the choices that we speaker faces in life. He cannot take both the roads in front of him as much as he would like to. So he spends time in trying to observe and decide. The speaker cannot see far enough to make a confident decision about which road is better. The yellow wood either points to the season of autumn or is a symbol of the age of the speaker. The speaker, it seems, is past his youth. He reflects that the decision he takes will affect his whole life. He speaks of the time ahead when he can look back and tell if the choice he made was right or wrong, and whether it was the turning point in his life. Let's start the poem. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And we one traveller long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it went in the undergrowth. Diverged means separated and took a different direction. Once the poet was walking down a road, and then there was a diversion. There were two different paths, and he had to choose one out them. The poet says that as he was one person, he could travel on one road only. He had to choose one out of these two roads. Yellow wood. Yellow wood means a forest with leaves which are wearing out and they have turned yellow in color. The season of autumn. It represents a world which is full of people, where people have been living for many years. They represent people who are older than the poet. The poet kept standing there and looked at the path very carefully as far as he could see it. Before taking the path, he wanted to know how it was. Was it suitable for him or no? He was able to see the path till from where it curved, after which it was covered with trees and was hidden. It happens in our life also when we have choices. We have alternatives, but we have to choose only one out of them. We take time to think about the pros and cons, whether it is suitable for us or not. And only then we take a decision on what path we should choose. Then took the other as just as fair and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that the passing there had warned them really about the same. Fair means as good as the other one. Claim means better option. Grassy means unused, and wanted wear means had not been used. The poet kept on looking at one path for a long time to check if it is the right path for him or not. And then he decided and started walking on another path because he felt that the both paths were equally good. He says just as fair. So he felt that both paths were equally good and started walking on one of them. He adds that maybe he felt that the path was better for him. So he chooses it as it had grass on it, which means that it was unused. Not many people had walked on this path earlier. That is why this path was grassy. And wanted wear means that it was not walked over by many people. After he walked on the path for some distance, he realized that both the paths had been worn out the same way. Both the paths were similar and worn out. Even in our life, we take any path or option, but all of them have the same benefits, disadvantages, problems, challenges, and we must face them. We think that we are choosing a better option, but it is not that way. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. Trodden means walked over. The poet says that both the paths were similar that morning. Both had leaves on them, and no one had stepped on them, as they were still green in color. He decided that day he would take one path and keep the other path for another day. Although he knew that one way leads on to another way, he knew that he could not go back on the choice that he had made. Similarly, even in our life, once we choose an option, we must keep on moving ahead with that option, and we never get a chance to come back and take the other option that we had left earlier. I shall be telling this with a sigh. Somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less travelled by, and that was made all the difference. Shy means deep breath. Hence here means in the future. He says that in the future he will take a deep breath and say that once upon a time he had reached such a point in life that there were two options for him, and he travelled on that road which had been travelled upon by lesser number of people. That decision of his decided his future. Similarly, in future, when you grow up, then you will say that once upon a time, when you were young You had two options. The choice that you made you what you became of it. This is a very strong message for all the students that you should be wise and be careful while making choices out of the options that you have in your life, because your future depends on the choice that you make today. Dear students, I hope you understood the poem that tells us that when we have two options in our lives and we have to make a choice, then we must not look for the easy option but choose the good one. So, the students, take care, stay home, stay safe and healthy. Thank you.